They're always watching. They're always waiting. Have eyes everywhere. All the time. Your life is not your own anymore. Everything you do is monitored for their control. They steal your data and sell you out, put you in chains and make you die. They're always watching. They're always waiting. They have eyes everywhere. All the time. They're always watching. They're always waiting. All the time.
Yeah, man, they're always watching. They always watching. And honestly, it kind of felt like it was the right song to play for the intro of this live, or really the intro of this series, so to speak, with what it is that we're watching. So with that being said, y'all can see the title of this episode, this live. Hold on. All right, we're good. I had to make sure the audio was good. But with that being said, y'all can see the title of this episode, this live, whatever you want to call it. Candace Owens back with her investigation on Charlie Kirk destroyed him. Deletion, to put lack of a better word. So with that being said, what the fuck? There we go. I was about to say, what type of shit? Let me change this layout real quick. There we go. Much better. Alright, so with that being said, let's go ahead and jump on into this, man. In 3, 2, 1.
Important, and the vultures are circulating above, man. They are definitely insisting that we stop investigating this. I should at first let you know that the Senate has voted and they have passed a bipartisan resolution to designate October 14th, which is Charlie's birthday, as Charlie Kirk Remembrance Day. And I have to say that is a very government maneuver. Like, we get a Martin Luther King Day, we've got Martin Luther King Boulevards, John F. Kennedy gets a library, a national day of mourning. But you know what? You know what I was thinking? I'd like to just find out who killed them all first. That's interesting to me. Who killed them? Before we give them a library, I'd like to know who did it. I think that's the best way for us to learn. The best way for us to remember is to study, right? That's what I learned at grade school. That's what we're doing right now. We're studying this and learning everything. Let's at first address what many people have been emailing me constantly, asking me, Can't you gotta look into this? You gotta look into this. Look at these two strange men. We're going to refer to this as Cameragate. It is Cameragate. And I want to say this, shout out to all of the internet sleuths, the TikTokers, the YouTubers, those of you who were not playing around and you noticed this, because I did not in the beginning. But yes, as I said, there's an individual who is at first, in the moment just after the shooting, he's like up on the rocks near the car that Charlie gets taken away in while he's being carried away. Let's take a look at that footage actually first. So look at that footage. And don't worry, there's no gore in this episode. Difficult for me to even look at that sort of footage. Take a look. You can see Charlie's there. And one of you guys caught this. You probably didn't even see it there. And we can get in a little closer. Do you guys have it slow it down, or do you guys just want to circle here? Okay. Right there. Right there.
Hell?
An individual standing there. Again, I am just amazed at internet sleuths, as I was like, wow, that is very strange. That person appears to be calmly talking into their phone. It's a circus around them. What's he doing? Who's he speaking to? Then, just a couple of minutes afterward, that same individual appears alongside another individual, and he moves Charlie's chair. Like, that's a crime scene. That's not good. And he moves it because he wants to stand on it as he takes down the cameras, or the camera rather, that is just above Charlie's head. That's the camera that I'm talking about on the right-hand side. That's a camera that I'm referring to, and we are going to now take a look at him. And he is also the individual, as many of you pointed out, that was near Charlie or just before the assassination. But let's check out that footage of him in the immediate aftermath, kind of switching around the cameras, the two of them. Take a look.
I've seen this before. It does look like the same dude.
Safety team's here. I just heard them say active shooter Charlie Kirk has been shot. Charlie Kirk got hit. Is what the security detail just said.
Don't worry, guys. We're going to get closer. But this is just a wide shot, so you can see what's going on here, and then we'll get a bit closer. I know you guys have pulled apart this footage a million ways, and thank you for that. And here's the closer version of that. You can see, slow down here, he pulls out the chair, he stands on it, and yes, that would be a big no-no for a crime scene. You don't move anything. He takes down the camera that is directly above where Charlie was sitting and would be able to provide, therefore, a lot of insight. And then you can see he kind of sits the camera onto the desk, and it looks like he removes the SIM card from it, or the SD card, if you will, which we're watching right here.
Why does he keep looking around though?
So I'm going when I saw this footage, who is that? Actually, I should be able to figure this out, because I've got a pretty big network at Turning Point USA. I'm the person wearing shades. I'm not recognizing the individual. And I reach out to somebody on the inside, and I'm just like, who's this person? And they tell me the person's name. I go, wait a second. And I look again, I'm like, I know this person. It's been a few years, but I know this person. This person's been around Turning Point for quite some time, for years. Like I said, back when I was working at Turning Point, early days. So I'm like, I'm just going to reach out, obviously. I know this individual. I'm going to reach out and I'm going to say, hey, what's up with this? Where is this footage? Why did you do this? What were you doing up there on the rocks? What's up? Like, this is not the first thing I would do if I had just witnessed Charlie Kirk being shot. And I'll say this right now. He was extremely forthcoming. Like, as soon as I reached out, I just sent a text because I still had his number. And he was extremely forthcoming, immediately got onto the phone. And first and foremost, I should say, obviously, he's seeing all of these clips going viral. And he is fearful for his family. He doesn't have any security. And people are looking, you know. And he said, look, as you can see in the footage, I was sitting right to the left or to the left of Charlie when Charlie got shot. And I instantly knew that he was not going to be okay. I instantly knew that he was dead. And I then, like, as you can see, people that are running, anybody that was in that zone, ran to the back, and he caught his breath. He wanted to check in with and communicate to other people that were working with and around Turning Point USA. That's why I was on his phone, communicating to them what had happened. That's what he told me. Then I asked, okay, well, what about this camera thing? Why would you grab the cameras? And he says, because the first thing that I thought is that I better secure the footage and be helpful and hand that footage over to the feds. Well, obviously, that's where things get into a pickle with me, because we don't trust the feds, right? I'm like, no, we don't trust the feds. We don't got to do that. Just let me have the footage. I'm like, just send me the footage, please. Let me look at it. There's a lot of conspiracies that are floating around right now. People don't know what to believe. People are doing what I would say, credible videos. People that certainly have the credibility are ballistics experts that are saying that what we see in the front is an exit wound, not an entry wound. I don't know one way or the other, because I'm not an expert. I'm getting inundated with messages from people that hunt, people that are in the military, saying that this have come from another direction. This footage could help. If nothing else, let me help you. Let me formally debunk that by seeing this footage. Like, could you send this footage over to me? Well, he didn't want to send the footage over to me without checking with Turning Point lawyers. I said, look, technically, you own the footage. Like, you and some other people own the footage. Like, let me just see the footage, because why go through lawyers? Like, I just want to see the footage. And also, I asked the question, why not just release it? We've already seen the worst thing that you could possibly see from the front, right? Like, the front is what is a traumatizing video. And I understand that he wants to afford his wife some protection. Like, this has, to experience that, Erica, so many people watching the love of your life in the last second of their life, it's traumatizing. I'm traumatized by it, right? That's not my husband and the father of my children. And so, out of a loyalty to Erica, he also doesn't want to give more footage to the internet. But I said, look, I'm not going to publish it. I just want to see it. And I think you should let me see that, because people trust me. They know that I'm very serious about this. I don't care about anything right now other than figuring out who killed Charlie Kirk. So in the short run, he agrees that rather than send the footage, he will get onto a FaceTime call with me, and he will show me the footage on his computer. He did that, and I watched the footage, and I'm going to tell you what I saw. And to the people, specifically the people that are in the military, people that know weapons, I'm telling you that.
Man, I think it's owed to the public to release that damn footage, honestly. Me personally, I think it's owed to the public and owed to Charlie Kirk that footage gets released. Because if there really is something in there that could actually help with the investigation to figure out either who or where the shot came from to help narrow it down even more, I think it's owed to the public, and it's owed to Charlie Kirk. I think it's also owed to his wife. And it may suck. It may be a hard thing to watch again. But, sometimes to get to the bottom of things, you got to do some tough-ass shit. That's just a fact.
It's because you might be able to add more color or more clarity here. What you would expect to see. If given the weapon that they have said did this, the bullet they have said did this, I don't know anything about any of this, so I'm just telling you what I saw, okay? First and foremost, there is nothing gory about this shot at all. And so, again, I am still going to work with him to get me the footage so that I think it should be shared. There's nothing gory about this footage from the back. The thing that really stood out to me, and I just kept asking him to replay it over and over and over again, is that there's no blood. There's no blood from the back. There is no blood. So I think a lot of people were wondering whether or not that bullet pierced and went out the back. I think I vaguely even remember, and Skylar, you can maybe live look this up, but I thought the feds were saying they were looking for a bullet at some point, which is now very alarming to me. I don't understand that. How could they have been looking for a bullet? Because if I'm not seeing, and there isn't, I'm telling you, what happens in the front is not what happens in the back at all. If I'm not seeing any blood, what are we to take from that? The only thing that could make sense, if what they're saying is true and that person took the shot from the place that they're saying that individual took the shot from, it would suggest that it was inside of Charlie, right? And they would know that. The feds would have known that. So they would have communicated that they were never looking for a bullet. Because remember, one shot. So I'm very confused. I'm very confused, not by what I saw, but what I didn't see. Okay? That's pretty much all I can tell you right now. And I am going to try to get all of the footage. And I understand that right now he is very fearful. But I am going to continue to try to privately push him to just release it. I believe that transparency is the only way. I'm much more, I think all of us would agree, I have much more trust in the people than I do in the feds. The feds are lying about everything, so they should not be the only people that have access to this. And I understand not wanting to have that relived from another angle, but given the fact that there is no gore and there is no blood from this angle, I don't see why not. And so that's what I wanted to share with you guys. I know some of you guys were insinuating, I had a lot of emails that it could have been a flechette. I had to look that up. I don't even know what that is. I was like, guys, I don't know anything. Flechette shells, that something could have been a lot closer that hit him, and that everything else could have been a distraction. All I can tell you is that there's no blood. That's it. There is no blood in that video. So give me your thoughts on that. Now I want to...
That's interesting, bro. I don't know what to think about that. Something is wrong there. He had to bleach somewhere. That's what I'm saying, bro. I don't know what to think about that. I really don't. But until I can see that footage for myself, I can't really, I can't really put an opinion or say anything about it until I see it with my own eyes. But that sounds weird as hell. No blood. I mean, with the amount of blood that we saw from the front angle, you would think you would see at least a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You'd think you'd see at least a little bit from the amount that we saw from the first angle. I don't know.
Get to another tip that I received that is pretty interesting because, look, as you guys know, when I began investigating this assassination, at no point did I ever speculate that any other country was involved. I never speculated that Israelis were involved. So it was surprising, to say the least, that they're simply pretending that I did, pretending that I blamed Israel, pretending that I said Bibi Netanyahu killed Charlie Kirk. It is now, like I said yesterday, it feels like they are trying to get ahead of something, like they know more than we know. I don't know why you would say something or accuse somebody of saying something that they didn't. I do believe that there's very clearly, we all believe, there's very clearly a government level conspiracy that is involved. Okay, there's no other way to assess those disastrous text messages. Absolute disaster of a Fed operation with those messages. Yesterday, I pretty casually mentioned to you guys something, that the doorbell cam footage, which TMZ happened upon somehow, was from a street upon which a ton of employees that work for Caldera Engineering live. We showed you, I think, one or two of those employees, the husband and wife I had mentioned, worked for Caldera Engineering, and it is a country that purports to manufacture valves. And I said this, I said, I know nothing about the valve industry. All I know is that every time I start investigating a government conspiracy or looking into people that are really shady, like Harley Pasternak, thus far 3 people who I've investigated who oddly, either them or their families had backgrounds working in this very niche valve and piping industry, like manufacturers of valves and pipes. I'm like, is everybody doing that? This is very strange. Well, many of you emailed me something that was quite surprising. Maybe I'm just ignorant, but you let me know that this is a very niche industry. And by niche, I mean that you asserted that it implies major government contracts, likely the CIA. Those of you who have worked at those industries telling me that there are even certain valves that are exclusively manufactured in Israel, and that they tend to be involved in this. The government and the military tend to be involved in this. And that even, by the way, on Caldera's website, they noted that they have worked in Israel. They have a map that they note every country that they have done engineering projects in. And one of them or 2 dots are in Israel. And somebody explained why the government gets involved when it comes to valves and piping. And I'm just going to read you this email because maybe there are people at home who are just as ignorant as I am about government level engineering, okay? This person wrote, "Hi Candace, I wanted to share some detailed information regarding valves, piping, and their relevance to critical infrastructure and intelligence communities. Valves as critical infrastructure assets. Modern industrial valves are used in pipelines, water treatment plants, power plants, and chemical facilities, are often automated and networked, forming part of operational technology and SCADA systems. This allows remote monitoring and control of the flow of gas, oil, water, and chemicals. Cybersecurity implications. These valves are part of systems that could be targeted for cyber attacks. Compromised valves can cause pipeline ruptures, water contamination, or industrial accidents. Because of this, intelligence and regulatory agencies, the CISA, NSA, PHMSA, FERC, monitor valve networks and may maintain trusted relationships with manufacturers and engineers to ensure security and resilience. Integration with above ground systems. Modern valve networks can also integrate with cameras, sensors, alarms, and environmental monitoring. This means that an operator could simultaneously monitor flow, view live video, and respond to alarms, which enhances both security and operational oversight. And strategic value for intelligence communities. Knowledge of valve locations, models, and control systems provide insight into critical infrastructure vulnerabilities. Access to or relationships with manufacturers allows agencies to monitor, assess, and secure supply chains. Remote monitoring of valves and integrated systems can support emergency response simulations and national security exercises. And then it provides with the real world context by writing companies like Caldera Engineering and Provo, Utah manufacture specialized industrial valves and control systems. While no public evidence currently links them to intelligence contracts, their products could theoretically be part of OT systems monitored by government agencies due to the critical nature of the infrastructure that they serve. In short, valves themselves are simple mechanical devices, but when networked and embedded in critical infrastructure, they become strategically important for monitoring security and intelligence purposes. That just sounds right to me. I'm telling you, when every story, I'm like, what is this person? It's like their family's invalid. I mean, I don't know anybody's family like this. I don't know. Again, like this is the kind of stuff that like we don't know, but we know. And that hit. And I feel like there is a bigger piece of this.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. All that goofiness about valves and technology and cameras and all that stuff and quote unquote security just sounds more BS that they can use to watch us in our private lives.
That involves Caldera. And like I said, I perceive a government conspiracy. You'd be a fool not to see a government conspiracy here, especially with the way that I am being attacked for simply trying to investigate this. And the attacks are growing frantic. It's almost as if they all received an email from somebody who said, I don't care what you say, make it up out of thin air, and do not stop attacking Candace Owens. That is the loudest. It's like an alarm went off. And everyone, people that I thought I was friends with, are coming after me with obscene lies that are just so easily fact-checked. So easily, you can debunk them in 4 seconds on the internet, and they're delivering it as though it's honest. We're going to talk about that. I was even surprised PBD. I mean, I've always been friendly with him. I've always been kind to him. I've done nothing wrong to him. And he seems to be kind of, he's the one who platformed without any pushback, Eric Bolling. And I have an idea about why all of that may be. I'll tell you in just a second. First, I want to remind you guys about GNO land, because what if smart contract platforms were not controlled by the system of law, real value system? So dodge too many people who I am close to be vilified for this it's very strange. And I think we know why it's happening. We obviously know why it's happening. But even the publications that are usually not so blatant, because in order to be a propagandist, you want to be effective, right? You gotta like lie a little and get people to believe you, not just do things that are just so nakedly deceptive that people go, okay, why am I reading this publication? Well, the Daily Mail put out this headline about me. I get a good like this. Look at this journalist, Victoria Churchill.
Rages after being snubbed from Charlie Kirk Memorial speaking roster. Interesting.
Who reached out? She writes, Candace Owens rages after being snubbed from the Charlie Kirk Memorial speaking roster. When did this happen? Like, the lying here is actually making me uncomfortable. I told you yesterday that we received way too many emails about Charlie's memorial. All of them were asking specifically for me to confirm that I was going. Didn't feel good to me. It felt very inauthentic. I know these journalists are not my friends. I knew they were writing hit pieces, but all of them included that question. Are you going? Are you going to go? Like, you want me to confirm my attendance so that you know where I'm going to be ahead of time? Am I being paranoid? Or does that seem like a little weird? Even on PBD
Nah, that doesn't. That's hell no.
Show where he just gives a platform to a guest to completely lie for 2 minutes straight. There is this random second where PBD rather oddly says something along the lines of, you don't think she's going to the funeral? Like, they keep talking about this. Take a listen again.
At some point, her credibility, is going to go down the tubes because she needs to bring receipts. Bill Ackman brought receipts. How long was that tweet?
It's still going. I think
he was there
Ron's
in the room.
reading it.
Andrew Colbert was there in the room. You're on the board of Turning Point?
Yeah.
Okay. When's the last time you saw Candace Owens?
In person?
Yeah.
2015,
Oh,
2016.
wow. Okay.
Yeah. No,
When's the last time she was at a Turning Point event?
Not in many years.
Okay.
But
So let's,
you don't
without
have to
even
do this,
being
Adam.
biased,
There's
is Candace even involved in Charlie Kirk's life at all?
No question proof that Candace Owens has nothing to do. She would be in a perfect world if they didn't have this. What I already know was a very quiet breakup where she got too rabbit hole for him. She would be the logical heir to the TPUSA throne, but she's not.
She's not even invited.
Correct. So this is so their advice was
not invited, meaning
She's not even there.
yeah, she's not one of the names.
What, you don't think she'll be at the funeral?
No.
That's
I mean,
not the funeral.
The heir to the
okay.
TPUSA throne.
She doesn't speak at the events anymore.
I mean,
Okay, so first and foremost, why did they all want to know if I was going to this event? I said there was no way we are going to this event now. There's a 0% chance. First and foremost, why are you saying anybody can go to it? You just buy a ticket to the event, and you're all working to try to get me to confirm that I'm going. And you're doing this as if you're trying to push my buttons and be like, we got to make her get into her ego so she shows up and posts it on social media. Nope, actually, while I'm...
I would have done just to troll them. I would have said, yeah, I'm going, and then not even went. But no, them sitting around talking about Candace like that, bro, you legit sitting there talking about Candace like that. Y'all sound like some hoes. I ain't gonna lie, bro. They sound like some hoes sitting in a circle talking about it. Come on, bro. Come on, bro.
attacking the feds, maybe not going to a public
It's one thing to have an opinion, but when you sit there and you talk about somebody like that, come on, bro.
event, which the feds are organizing, is probably a very good idea. I'm good. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna listen to Power on my headphones and go see Ye. How's that for a memorial for Charlie Kirk? That feels like the right thing for me to do right now. I mean, I'm not going to this memorial because it's strange. To lie like this is very strange. For context, just so you can realize how odd this is, I spoke at Turning Point's conference, 2 conferences last year. It's so easily, like I said, debunkable that you have to ask yourself why they are saying it. Here is me speaking on Turning Point USA's stage last year. And here's what I said, by the way, which got Charlie in a lot of trouble.
Well, let me tell you something, America. It does feel so good to go everywhere in the world and to realize that there's awakening not just happening here. Let me tell you guys, it's happening all across the globe. People are starting to ask the hard questions. And you start getting close when they start to call you names. They instantly want to suggest that there's something wrong and there's something backwards about being America first. You're starting to hear the way they're framing that now. When you say you're America first, they'll ask you, what do you mean you're America first? Do you mean that you're an isolationist? Do you believe that we shouldn't have did what we did during World War II? All of these things trying to pollute it. It's not that difficult. America first. First name America, last name first. We put this country's interests before the interests of foreign countries overseas. All of them. I don't care.
Yeah, I kind of went on and on, but it was kind of me saying, especially since 3 months earlier, I had gotten fired from the Daily Wire, like, Israel, you're not special. And yeah, Charlie got in trouble for the stuff that I said on stage, and then they came inward. I told that I was not allowed to speak at AmFest. The donors were making threats, but like I went on tour with Turning Point last year. It's also on their website. It's so, this is like the strangest thing. We could pull up this website. Live Free Tour, Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens. Quiet breakup? Why are we doing this? It's very strange. Here's all the places that we went to last year. Now they are pushing these headlines that are so far beyond the realm of reality, like the one that I just showed you, where they say that I'm angry. And then when you look into who's writing these articles, like Victoria Churchill, you know that she has a connection to AIPAC. So AIPAC is pushing this, right? The answer is implied by the people who are attacking me. They are all ultra-Zionists, right? Like I said, the author of that article is an ultra-Zionist. And here she is, starting off 2018 in DC, and she's got a picture of herself. You can scroll down, I don't know if you can see this, like sitting in the audience in AIPAC, and she's thrilled. America, Israel. It's like all of these people are agents for a foreign country. And I
had a lengthy drive out from Florida on very little sleep after ringing in the new year. Good thing the USA-Israel relationship is definitely
feel like Bibi Netanyahu is spending a lot of money right now. He is just way too involved, concerned about Turning Point USA, the future of Turning Point USA, attacking Candace Owens. And I think something sinister is going on here. How can you not see that? I also want to say this. I have had a flood of Turning Point employees reach out to me, maybe because he says she would have been the natural heir to Turning Point USA. I'm not trying to be the heir to Turning Point USA. I kind of like my life. I don't want to take money from donors, okay? Because they do what they did to Charlie. They're not donating money to charity because they view it as a charity. They doing it because they want to purchase your voice. That's it. And I don't want to give mine up. But what these people are telling me is a very dark story that involves these donors, sponsors, influencers, a takeover of sorts that I think was happening right under Charlie's nose. And I want to say this formally as we keep investigating this. I believe that Charlie Kirk was betrayed by people who are close to him. Based on what I have seen thus far, the evidence, the quote-unquote receipts that require a way deeper investigation into the apparatus, the financial apparatus at Turning Point.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. It would not surprise me one bit if the Democrats or somebody like way higher up, like Soros or whatever, paid the people that were close to Charlie Kirk to leave him vulnerable enough to get a shot off. I would not be surprised one bit if that happened. I would not be surprised if Bill Gates did it. I would not be surprised if Joe Biden did it. I would not be surprised if Kamala Harris did it, or if the Clintons or the Obamas did it. I wouldn't be surprised if anybody on that side did it. I wouldn't be surprised if anybody who supports transgenderism did it. I wouldn't be surprised.
There was definitely some weird activity leading up to this moment happening at the organization, and I've been able to verify it. I have been given names, and I intend to now embark on this lengthier investigation, which I need more help on. I've reached out to some journalists, and I'm sharing the information with them, and I think we're going to discover that this was ugly, uglier than we could have ever imagined, okay? There is a fear here that we are all perceiving, a desperation almost to end the investigation. The smears are becoming radical. You can't just pretend Candace hasn't spoken to Charlie Kirk in years, but they're doing it. And they're trying to be convincing and shocked and putting this out. I've never stopped talking to Charlie. I mean, yesterday I released just one of many messages that I have with Charlie, which prove it.
Sarah Milgram and Yaron Lishansky were two beautiful young people with their whole lives ahead of them. Their deletion was senseless, evil, and horrifying, and the man who did it should be punished to the maximum extent possible, but I must push back against one thing all over.
He was, in the months leading up to this, concerned about Israel and how Israel was coming after our free speech. Free speech meant a lot to him, right? This message is from May. We can pull it back up, right? Charlie sent me his tweet because after the assassination of Sarah Milgram and Yaron Lachinsky in D.C., people were calling for like hate speech laws, and Charlie, authored a long tweet saying these are beautiful people, they had their lives ahead of them, but I must push back against one thing. And again, it was just the justification that this somehow meant that we had to, get rid of free speech. Like suddenly, like, oh well, this happened, so now we need to say free speech is wrong. And so I wrote back to him and I said, great tweet, and he gave prayer hands, and I said, speech censorship is coming to America. And he wrote back, as you can see, and the date here is May 22nd of this year. It totally is. Okay? Me and Megan and Tucker are not lying to you. Charlie was concerned about the speech, that he felt the restrictions. And inevitably, this happens when you get into bed with Israel. You can't criticize them at all, as Megan said, before you start enduring threats. And what I have learned from the employees there is that back in May, Turning Point had some big changes, some odd changes as they are describing it to me, certain departments, people that were being fired, people that were told that they had to keep certain things a secret. Secret from whom? Secret from whom?
You know what needs to happen? Candace needs to get a hold of the people that, this shit happened to and get them on her podcast, whether it's by phone. Probably be easier by phone. That way, when the video gets edited, they can, deepen the voice and whatnot, whatever the case may be, and interview them on what they were told, what happened to them, and all this other shit.
Something is not right. Nothing we are being told is true. And the strangest thing is that Pam Bondi, who is a complete loser and a tool, is trying to use the assassination of Charlie Kirk to lay the groundwork for hate speech laws in America. The very thing that Charlie was fighting against. They all just got right to work trying to pass laws. Well, Charlie Kirk decided now we got to hate speech is something. Exactly what he's messaging me about that he doesn't want to happen. They're trying to use his death to justify. Listen to what Pam Bondi said to Katie Miller on her podcast. Take a listen.
There's free speech and then there's hate speech.
No.
And there is no place, especially now, especially after what happened to Charlie, in our society.
Do you see more law enforcement going after these groups who are using hate speech and putting cuffs on people so we show them that some action is better than no action?
We will absolutely target you, go after you, if you are targeting anyone with hate speech, anything. And that's across the aisle.
So to be clear, that's the feds telling you that they want to pass speech laws, which will basically just give them the full power to go after you for wrongthink, okay? And they're doing it in the most disturbing way ever by going after Charlie Kirk's legacy and using his assassination to say, oh, well, now we've got to get hate speech done, which, by the way, who was the person and the leader who said that he was passing laws against speech in America? That was Bibi Netanyahu, okay? Years ago, on record, saying that he was working with the government of America, and any person that criticized Israel would find themselves on the wrong side of the law, okay? You can find that clip of him saying that. And now what's happening? Well, we have an occupied administration. There's no question. Trump is occupied by Zionists, okay? He's completely impotent. He's completely powerless. He cannot say anything that goes against Israel or Bibi Netanyahu. He's letting them do whatever they want. No pushback whatsoever. It's very clear Bibi is in control, and his administration is saying that. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. But this was the plan, okay? This was the plan. And we have to stand up to this, guys. We have to fight this tooth and nail. The reason they're...
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. I don't like the sound of that. I don't like the sound of getting arrested for speaking words. I think when it comes to a punishment for free speech or hate speech, whatever, is that the person that you're targeting that hate speech towards should have the right to punch you in your mouth. That's just me. You can say whatever you want, but you're not free from the consequences of saying whatever you want. But I don't think that warrants some people getting arrested. I really don't. I don't like the sound of that at all. I ain't even gonna lie to you. That's just me.
Doing this, obviously, is because they can't win in the free markets. People are, as Megan said, people that are under 30 are anti-Israel. So that means the future of America is anti-Israel. So what they're going to try to do is to pass speech laws. Bolshevik speech laws. They're going to arrest us for saying that we don't support Israel. Something that Charlie was...
And you know what's crazy? If that does happen, guess what? It's going to go from getting arrested for saying you don't support Israel to getting arrested for praying. You're going to get arrested for having a Bible. You're going to be arrested for reading a Bible. You're going to be arrested for saying that you're a Christian, for claiming you're a Christian, you're gonna get arrested for saying the name Jesus Christ, and that's when tribulation the doors of tribulation will begin to open when that time comes.
Passionately against, okay, and we can show you next week clips of him hosting the debate about speech and Israel and whether or not everything was anti-Semitism, and he was very clear in his perception that this is going to increase anti-Semitism, trying to pass speech laws or leaving people anti-Semites for criticizing Bibi Netanyahu. It's all out there. And they're lying to you. Am I wrong am I cynical for believing that, yeah, the feds are obviously lying, and I would say at some level, in a very big way, were involved in the death of Charlie because they wanted this sort of radical way to push through laws. When something chaotic happens, we usually turn to the government. I mean, 9/11, what did we do? We gave them so much power, right? The Patriot Act. Do whatever, just keep me safe. It's like they see your emotion. They see this global emotion and they want you to just agree with them. But the next step is more power for the government. And this time we're saying no. No, Pam Bondi. No, thank you. Genuinely, why are you in office? How can this administration pretend that they are the same administration that they were in 2016 that were fighting against this? The same administration that was going, oh, well, the George Floyd death, radical Dems, BLM, speech laws. It was wrong when the left did it. And it's wrong now that the right is doing it, which leads me to believe that we are fighting opposite sides of the same coin. It's us.
Two birds of the same feather, boy. Two birds of the same feather. I always said it, bro. The left and the right doesn't matter if you're Republican, Democrat. I don't give a fuck. It's two birds of the same feather. There might be a few more good people on the Republican side than there are on the Democratic side. I really don't believe there's anybody good on the Democratic side at all. But I will tell you this. Most of it is two birds of the same feather.
Versus them. the elites versus the rest of us. That's it. Everything else is a mirage. And speaking of free speech, I want to speak about Jimmy Kimmel because he has been pulled off air indefinitely over his comments in the aftermath of Charlie's assassination. So let's take a listen to what Jimmy Kimmel said on his show.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And
When you say his lies, who are you talking about? Whose lies?
it's going to be a beauty.
Yes. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction. Demolition, construction. This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend.
So Jimmy, oh yeah, you ain't even lying about that. I'm glad Jimmy got removed. I ain't gonna lie. Like I said, you have the right to say what you want, but you don't have the right to avoid the consequences of saying what you want. And unfortunately, Jimmy said a little too much this time, and he got his ass booted off of air. I never really liked watching Jimmy Kimmel. I never gave a fuck about him. But to know that he made some stupid ass comments and then got booted makes me happy.
This is how.
Hey, Trevor, homie, if you ain't listening to what I just said, I'm gonna need you to open your ears. I said you have the right to say what you want, but that doesn't give you the right to avoid the consequences of saying what you want. That's 100% facts. Your words have repercussions, whether they're good ones or bad ones. It's completely up to what you say.
A 4-year-old mourns a goldfish.
Okay, so that's what he's...
That's like you have the right to say that you want to kill the president, but you don't have the right to stop the FBI from breaking into your fucking house because you declare on the internet that you want to kill the president. You're exercising your freedom of speech, but guess what? The FBI is exercising their right to protect the president. That's just how it goes. He said, late night TV used to be funny into people's days. They should be funny and make fun of everything, not push an agenda. Man, you ain't even lying, bro. I remember the good old days when everything was just comedy and nothing was about, transgenderism, nothing was about homosexuality, and nothing was about, the MAGA this or this or that and the third. I remember when everything was just about pure entertainment. And now it's just bullshit. He said his boss didn't like what he said. Fire. That's 100% facts. Next, they'll try to boot Jimmy Fallon. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I forgot who Jimmy Fallon is. You know how long it's been since I've heard their names? I legit forgot who Jimmy Fallon is, bro.
Said, whether or not you think it was a insensitive joke, okay, I don't think that would have been the justification for saying that he now needs to donate to charity and lose his whole life. And this is what happened. He's taken off air, and some people are saying, hey, Candace, they did this to us, and you're not wrong, right? If you are on the right and you are saying that when the whole George Floyd thing happened, people lost their jobs for saying sensible things or making it, you are correct. Like, you are right to say, yes, that absolutely did happen. But if you're not recognizing that when you just flip the coin, it's the same people that are gaining more power. I just want the attacks on free speech to stop, okay? I want the reaction, if you're angry about what Jimmy Kimmel said, is for the free markets to take him out, right? He doesn't have a show because nobody's watching him anymore because they're so obsessed by what he said. That's what I want. I want us to be in control, right? Of where we spend our dollars, of what we're...
And then you also got to remember, when you work for a private corporation, they have the right to fire you if they don't like your moral standpoints. If you align yourself with homicide, then they have the right to fire you because homicide isn't what represents their company. And that's just how it goes. Like if you work at Walmart, which, supports standing for everyone and everything and supporting everything, and you go against, say transgenders or whatever, Walmart's a private corporation. Guess what? They have the right to fire your ass, and that's just how it goes.
Saying, and not like the government to press a button and say, you lose everything because we don't like what you said. And it should be noted, by the way, that in the same monologue, he did call the murder senseless. The day that it happened, Jimmy Kimmel posted a message on Instagram sending love to the Kirk family, to the victims of gun violence. He posted, instead of the angry finger pointing, can we just for one day agree that it's horrible and monstrous to shoot another person? On behalf of my family, we send love to the Kirks and to all the children, parents, and innocents who fall victim to senseless gun violence. You wouldn't have thought that he had posted that in terms of everyone that were just like strip him of everything. And I want to be clear, I don't like Jimmy Kimmel, right? I think he...
It's offensive speech has consequences, but it shouldn't be that. That's facts. Nobody deserves to die for speaking words unless you got a gun in your hand and you telling somebody, I'm going to shoot your ass right now. Then, yeah, you're going to get popped because you're over there being fucking stupid. But if somebody is just talking and sharing their viewpoints and whatnot, they don't deserve to die. They really don't. If you are somebody who is against transgenderism and you openly speak about how you're against it, you don't deserve to die. If you're somebody who is openly speaking against God, it's horrible, but you don't deserve to die. I may disagree with it, but that doesn't mean that I should kill you because I disagree with you. We should have a conversation and see why you feel the way you feel about God. That's just how it goes, and that's what Charlie was doing, bro.
Is a part of the radical left. The people that are constantly shouting, I don't like him at all, but I'm just recognizing that our solution to being angry at each other always seems to be, let's give the government more power, right? Let's give the government more power. And that's what happened here, okay? The chairman of the Federal Communications Commission, Brendan Carr, jumped up and he criticized Jimmy Kimmel's remarks. He threatened federal action against ABC affiliates who carried the show. What? Federal action if you carry the Jimmy Kimmel show? Does that seem right to you? Okay? Again, if you're on the right and you cheer this on, do you understand? We never, ever, ever should be applauding federal action when it comes to speech. Okay? We're all losing. We are all losing. You have to wake up. But that's what happened. Brendan Carr of the FCC was joining Benny Johnson, and that's what he said, that he absolutely wants to make.
You know what's crazy is I would not be surprised if this was part of the plan all along. Cancel culture from the left, and then cancel culture from the right. Now everybody believes in cancel culture. Guess what? Now the government's going to come up with the solution that, oh, you can't say certain things about anything, period. And now everybody's going to get arrested. I wouldn't be surprised.
Make sure that people are not carrying this show anymore, and that after, one of the mergers that they did, I just see the same people are constantly being empowered. And I want to point that out to you because you have to be more conscious of that. It's like they use our emotions, left versus right, to manipulate all of us. And it's completely wrong. It's completely crazy. And they're also calling for him to make a meaningful personal donation to the Kirk family and Turning Point USA. What? That's a shakedown. That's what they did to Kyrie Irving. I don't like what you said. Donate to the Holocaust Museum. What? I can't cheer this on, guys. I'm sorry. I can't cheer this on because I don't like it. I know for a fact, as I just showed you, that this was Charlie's fear. The government coming in on speech. That's what's happening right now. They're taking over our speech under the guise of fighting hate. TikTok, by the way.
What if, and this is just an idea, instead of Charlie talking about truth in, transgenderism and whatnot, what if they shot him because he was fighting for freedom of speech, and that's the next thing they're going to try and take away? Crazy, bro.
Way. Did you guys see this? Israel's pretty much taking over TikTok. There's no other way to say it. Mark Andreessen in on a deal with, I think it's a Silver Capital. What is it? Not Silver Lake. They're all coming together, and we knew this was going to happen. This whole fake canceled TikTok. No, TikTok was going pro-Palestine.
Problem, reaction, solution is how government behaves. No, well, yeah, because the government creates the problem. They wait for the reaction, and then they bring in the solution, and then the people fall for it. That's a fact. The people fall for it. Someone at the top had them killed, obviously. Oh, of course, yeah. There's no doubt about that, bro. There's no doubt about it, whether it was the CIA, whether it was a Soros-funded assassin, or a Bill Gates-funded assassin. There's no doubt about the fact that somebody hired a hitman to take out Charlie Kirk. That's 100% facts. Nobody's denying that. whether it was Robinson or not, whether it was somebody else that was paid to do it and Robinson was paid to take the fall, I don't know. They could have hired the assassin, and the assassin could have paid Robinson to lay up there on the building while the assassin took the shot, and then Robinson take the fall. Or it really could have been Robinson who was paid to take him out. I don't know. But somebody definitely hired somebody to kill him, I'll tell you that.
And a bunch of hedge fund people who are pro-Israel got involved. Trump pretended that he was going to rescue speech. No, he's handing it over to Israel. Okay, wake up. If you're a Trump supporter, wake up. Okay? He has handed so much over to Israel, and he's about to hand over the keys to our speech. All that aside, I do want to shout out all the creators that are making me laugh. Let's use our speech while we're still allowed to have it. And you also have to remember, Charlie wanted us to be happy warriors. So while we are fighting for truth, while we are fighting for transparency, we should remember that we should laugh and we should be happy. And the clips that you guys are making regarding how the feds think that we speak after that ridiculous made-up text chain between Tyler Robinson and his lover, Lance, they're hilarious. Your TikToks and the videos are hilarious. I'm going to show you just one here. This is Chris Olsen, at Chris Olsen. He's actually over on Instagram.
He said the old man who got arrested first was also the 9/11 event, the Boston bombing also. Yeah, I think he was at the what was that? I want to say it was what was the OKC bombing. I believe he was out there too, which is actually pretty fucking crazy when you think about it. This motherfucker's been in all these different places. Why are you at all these different places, bro? Like, it makes you, like, come on, bro. That's who she needs to look into next, bro. She needs to do a deep dive into this motherfucker right here.
Take a listen.
Good day, my love. I have just committed one of the highest sins of the Lord, murder. I must flee the country now, in my vehicle. I have hidden the weapon. It was mine. I won't see you for a very long time, unless you come with me. If not, I will see you after the war, my love.
Why is that so accurate? What went wrong, FBI? What went wrong? Speak to us. Let us help you.
I tell you what went wrong. They had retards trying to stage the damn thing. That or people, some old ass people from the CIA. Come on now.
You guys just old? Like, what's going on?
I just said that too. That's crazy.
I actually think there was a person on TikTok. I hate to not credit them, but I genuinely don't remember what handle it was. I was just scrolling through. But he suggested that what went wrong was that they did use AI, and in their AI prompt, they said to create a conversation between 20-year-olds, or like a conversation between 20-year-olds. They actually wrote, like, the AI understood it as, like, not people in their 20s, but like people in the 20s, like the 1920s. And I was like, that actually could have been what...
Oh, no, that didn't happen, bro. Oh, that's so fucking cringy, dude. Oh, that's so cringy. And how the hell do you not catch that? Y'all supposed to be professionals, dude, and you didn't catch that? Come on now. Man, Kash Patel really doing a great fucking job with the FBI, I tell you that.
Went wrong. They prompted AI, and they said, people in their 20s, and actually they wrote people in the 20s, and they just went with it, and that's why you have this, hello, my love. Like, it's so bad. It's a major blunder. It's a very bad blunder, you guys. But I'm happy it happened, because everything's coming undone. We're exposing everything. We're going to figure out everything, and I feel good about that. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing this weekend. In memorial of Charlie Kirk, I'm going to keep investigating every single lead until I solve his murder. What are you doing? What are you doing? It's some of your comments. Also, I want to respond to some of you guys that were emailing us about the Dairy Queen photo. You were like, this is an old photo. It could have been from July. It was a poster, Superman. I'll explain to you why that picture was definitely not taken in July. First, I want to tell you guys about Pure Talk, because our society works because of the freedoms guaranteed by the First Amendment. Free speech, okay? Even if I hate your speech, I want you to have it.
So she, you mean who, Candace? And if so, where's the proof?
Everyday Americans should be able to speak openly, and they should be able to speak honestly about family, their traditional values, without any... groceries, gas, and bills. You know those interest rates are absolutely brutal. Why keep paying 20% or more to the banks when you could just call my friends in American Financing because they have mortgage rates right now, they're in the fives, and they are showing people every day how to keep more of their hard-earned money in their own pocket and out of the hands of credit card companies. And first, I want to tell you guys the Dairy Queen photo. Some of you guys noticed that there was this old Superman poster, and that Superman in the background there, that poster, you said they removed those ads back in June or July. You are correct. That's when that movie came out, and that's when they were scheduled to remove those ads. But rest assured, first and foremost, for two reasons, that is not, definitely is not footage from July. July, just so you guys understand, there is not a place in the world that would have the bandwidth to keep 24-hour footage inside of their restaurant dating back months. It auto deletes, I think, the footage in my house, because we have cameras absolutely everywhere. I think it's like every 48 hours, every 72 hours. I think the highest you might see that is 1 week. This is absolutely, by the way, how would that person have known to go back to July? Could you imagine having to scroll the footage and be like, I think I one time saw that person in July eating something here. Let's go back and scroll. Like, that definitely did not happen. The source we had was very solid. It was very specific. And also saying that they threw away clothes in the nearby cemetery was very specific. This person was very confident when they shared it. But also something else that lets you date it, to pull back up that photo, is behind, right? Their advertising available now. What that actually is a, and I gotta remember the name of it. It's, I don't know why I didn't write it down. It's like a maple.
It said Destiny got banned from YouTube. Hey, man, like I said, you got the freedom to say whatever you want, but you ain't got the freedom to avoid the consequences, man. But let me tell you something. I heard Destiny say some foul ass shit. He said some foul ass shit about Charlie Kirk's family. And I understand why they banned his dumb ass. This motherfucker said that his whole family should die. So of course they banned him. And I don't give a fuck about Destiny. I really don't. He can kiss my ass.
Leaf blizzard thing. It's maple leaf something. That dropped. They began using those advertisements for that drink on August 31st. So the absolute earliest that could have been taken is August 31st. And that's if they put up that advertisement immediately. Yes, the maple cookie shake. That's what it was. They began advertising on August.
That low-key sounds disgusting, bro. I ain't even gonna lie.
31st. So it's not from July. And like I said, I feel very confident about our source. And we are taking a look at everything. You guys have sent me so much more, by the way, which I'm going to get into this weekend in memorial of Charlie Kirk, about the house next door, some weird stuff that was happening at that house, but has been advertised at that vacant house where the locals believe that's the real place that the shooter went to. And people are telling me a lot of stuff about CIA action at UVU, some programs that they had been running, that there's a pipeline from people at UVU to people that go and work for the CIA. So there's a lot to investigate, but I also want to be given the time to fact check everything so that we don't go after the wrong people. Again, if you have any tips, any photos, you know where to send them. That's not right. Don't send it there. tips@CandaceOwens.com. And yeah, for those of you guys who have supported this, thank you so much. Like I said yesterday and the day before, we see you in the comments fighting for us. And I will say it is a good thing they're attacking this hard.
So, it's very interesting. It really is. Saying a clip of a docu named Christian Tucker claims waking up, not being able to breathe, and then later seeing claw marks on his ribcage and his arms and his left shoulder bleeding claw. But what the fuck are you talking about, bro? Hey, homie, can you type right? Can you, speak English, please? Can you, write coherent sentences, please? Because I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about, dog. I really don't. I really don't. What the fuck? What the fuck is this?
4 individual lodges trying to, barely make it, have them all combine into one lodge where everyone gets together and...
Yeah, they can kiss my ass. I don't know why the hell that shit's even on my For You page. Now, fuck the Freemasons. But, no, bro, I don't know what I'm dead ass serious too, bro. I need you to type some coherent ass fucking sentences so I can understand what the fuck you're saying. Cause I just got fucking brain rot trying to read that. I really did. But yeah, man, it's you see, it's man. Candace gonna figure out who killed Charlie, and I mean we pretty much already know. CIA, FBI, George Soros. They all have a hand in it because they're all trying to push the getting rid of free speech narrative. And if what Candace said about Trump is true about being controlled by the Israelis, dude, man, I bet he's pissed. Because I know Trump doesn't want to do what they're trying to tell him. Hey, okay, yeah, look, I see this is what I'm finna do. You over here screaming in my comment section. I'm finna do this to you right there. Boom, yeah. Scream now, ho. Scream now, ho. But, no, I know Trump is pissed because he doesn't like bending to the will of other people. And so, man, it's just some crazy ass shit. Distraction, man, you ain't even lying. Distraction. What they're trying to do is push the passing the laws on speech to where you say certain words and your ass get locked up. That's what they're trying to do. And that's crazy, bro. That's crazy. The next step is to take away freedom of speech. And once they take away freedom of speech, guess what? And the Antichrist is probably going to come on the stage or be close to coming on the stage. So with that being said, man, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Appreciate y'all for tapping in, man. Make sure y'all share with your friends, your families, your mummies, your aunties, your grannies, and everybody else y'all know. I'm finna play this outro, and we finna get up on out of here, man.
Yeah.